Okay, so welcome to this week's market review and expectation. Yeah, so as I do every week, I take a look at what I was expecting in the previous week and then against what the market delivered. I also talk about what I expect in the coming week, and then I talk about the news releases that might have some kind of impact on the market. Okay, yeah, so this is a dollar index and this is the daily time frame. All right, so in the previous week all these candles hadn't formed. Okay, from this bullish candle to this this bearish candle. All right, and in the previous week I was expecting a pull up, okay, into this the higher end of this candle. Okay, the high of this candle, which is the lower end of this fair value gap. I was expecting price to pull up into that, so as denoted by this line, right? So I was expecting price to pull up into this level, all right, and then we can slam lower. So this is Sunday's candle, which is not part, right? That's why you see the direction from this bullish candle, the close of this bullish candle. All right, yeah, so we had what we expecting on Monday, which is on this candle, right? Price opened, pull up to the high end as we were expecting, and then it just went a little above it, which is all right, and from there we dropped lower. So the expectation was that we open, pull up to the high of this candle, which is going to act as a ceiling or resistance, right? And then we would drop to the low of this candle. That was my expectation. That was what I was looking at, or the low of this candle was my target, right? But price did much above my expectation, which is all right. Okay, so we've dropped down, we've totally filled in this monthly fair value gap, as I've been talking about in the previous weeks. If you watch the previous weeks videos, right? So if you go to the weekly time frame, you can see something remarkable, right? We've cleared out these lows, we've cleared out these lows, right? All these lows have been cleared out, right? And we've actually dropped into this fair value gap. If I should zoom in, you can see it much better, right? So this fair value gap, the high of this candle, right, and the low of this candle, you can see some little fair value gap right there. We've actually dropped into that. Okay, price has dropped into that, as you can see. Okay, and you've done justice to that fair value gap. So the next line of liquidity is the low of this candle. Okay, this swing low right here, that's the next line of liquidity I'm looking at, and then from there I'm looking at the open of this bearish candle. All right, yeah, so but where we are right now, there's a possibility for some kind of consolidation in the coming week to determine where price can reach out again, whether we pull back into this range, which is the high here, and then this low, right? So we can determine whether we pull back into the range, which is which has a higher probability of occurring. But as it stands now, I'm expecting some kind of consolidation, right? And then we can look at this level or this low right here. Should we reach into this low, I'm looking at this the opening of this particular candle for the dollar index, right? Yeah, so let's see what the market has to offer. You know, Monday can give us a very clear picture of where price is most likely going to trade next. Yeah, I've learned the hard way not to call the turning point of any trend, right? Yeah, it's hard to learn the hard way. Yeah, so let's actually go into the fundamentals. What news releases you have to expect in the coming week. So from Monday, April 14th to Friday, April 18th. Let me fix. Okay, I think it should be good. On Monday at 6 p.m. we have to expect the FOMC member Walla to speak, which has a made impact on the dollar index. And then on Tuesday 15th April at 7 a.m. claimant counts change to affect the GBP. That's a high impact news, right? And then at 10 a.m. we have the German ZEW economic sentiment. That's the euro. That's a mid impact news. And at 1:30 p.m. we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index. That's a mid impact to affect the USD, right? On Wednesday, April 16th at 7 a.m. you have the CPI for the GBP, all right? That's a high impact news. And then at 1:30 p.m. you have the core retail sales. That's a high impact news. That one to also affect the USD. And then on Thursday, 17th April at 1:15 p.m. you have to expect the main refinancing rates or the monetary policy for the euro. Okay, that's a high impact news. And then at 1:30 p.m. you have the unemployment claims. That's a high impact news to affect the USD. Okay, and then at 1:45 p.m. you have the European Central Bank press conference. That's a high impact news to affect the euro. And on Friday we have bank holidays for both the euro and then the GBP. Right, yeah, so those are the news impact to be aware of. I'm looking at the core retails for the USD, okay, and then unemployment claims to have some kind of to inject some kind of volatility into the marketplace for the dollar. All right, yeah, so these are my expectations for the coming week. Let's see what the market has to deliver and where we are. Just have to hold on and see our next line of action. Don't be aggressive, to put on trades. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Thank you for watching.